Right.
Okay, are we ready? 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 All right, let's do this. All right, I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for March 10th, 2026. The time is now 7 o'clock p.m. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent meditation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Okay, the first item, that's actually item number 3, is roll call.
Mayor Nickel,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Dyer,
Here.
Councilmember Romy,
Here.
Councilmember Net, Councilmember Yorio,
Here.
also in attendance, City Manager Coffey, and City Attorney Bone.
Okay, item number 4 is excusal of council members and authorization for remote participation. So I would entertain a motion to allow Councilmember Nutt.
I'd like to make a motion to allow Councilmember Nutt to attend by phone.
Second.
A motion by Deputy Mayor Dyer, second by Councilmember Romy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I guess that would be, is that a 4-0? I guess we call it a 4-0 then. All right. Motion carries 4-0. All right, next is additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda, if any. Does anyone on council have any changes or additions? No? Okay, continue on to item number 6, presentations, proclamations, and introductions. Item 6A is Irish American Heritage Month proclamation. It's my understanding there is not somebody, nobody's here to
Correct.
represent on that, so I will sign that and we'll get that to them. Item 6B is Jamestown Presentation. We have a gentleman here that I believe wishes to speak to us about an update.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members, city manager, and staff. My name's Dan Klein. I'm the president of the Jamestown Condo Association, and I'm here to give you an update on some of the Jamestown condos. We're 144 units. We're 13 buildings. And we were built in 1964 as an apartment complex, which was condoized in 1978. I bring this to you as some of you are new members. Some of you might not remember being here 2 years ago. It is one of the first complexes built in IHB. The historical significance is part of a legacy to this community, and I feel that it needed help, the condo complex, and so we talk a little bit about the involvement. I purchased in 2021. I live in northwest Indiana, just outside Chicago, at the bottom of Lake Michigan, so I needed to get warm in the winter, and I'm down here. We became involved in the condo association because it was declining. There was financial uncertainty at the time, and I never owned anything that I shared with other people. It was always my own products, my own businesses, my own real estate. It looked old and worn, and so I got a few owners together, and we ran for the board, and we all got elected. Much to our demise, or discretion, we found lots of issues. And as was happening in a lot of condo associations in the state of Florida, they weren't being run properly, and we had no problem getting elected because nobody else wanted to be involved. So to that end, the new board found things that needed help. There were questionable procedures at the time, questionable protocols, regarding occupants and tenants, which led to increased police violations, or police intervention, I should say. It was becoming more of a transient community because a lot of rentals were there, and it was a lot of VRBOs, and things like that, and it was taking a lot of additional time. And so we identified and prioritized what we needed to get rid of, and we felt that the first thing we needed to do was stabilize the community and get rid of as many rental properties as we could within the within the condo complex. So the most important thing we did was pass some laws or declarations to do that. We also became aware of structural issues that needed attention that would cost in the millions. And we found that there was not a great working relationship with this city, with the prior board, and we found encumbrances and unpaid fines from the city that were not dealt with by the previous board. So in January of '24, I stood before you at that meeting and asked for a reduction of over $1 million in fines due to the lack of follow-up from the previous board. You granted that with a $1 fine. We paid all the legal costs, which were several $1,000s. And I'm here tonight to give you an update on where we've gone since then, because we've gone quite a ways. First thing we did was we updated our docs to have the owners be held responsible for any violations or actions that were not in them. So if they have a violation and they don't fix it, it automatically goes to an attorney and the clock starts ticking and they start paying. So that helped get people's attention and they start following the rules a little bit better. We started tracking our rentals and had better oversight of our occupants. We implemented our tenant buyer approval process, included background checks to enhance our community safety. We also put in a minimum credit score so nobody can move into our complex unless they meet that minimum credit score. And when a unit sells now, it cannot be rented. So we're getting rid of, over time, there'll be less and less rentals, which will help stabilize not only our condo complex, but the city as well. Because I know a lot of cities, having been a mayor of my city in Northwest Indiana, the last thing we wanted was VRBOs and rental properties because it costs everybody more money from a tax perspective. What we did was we changed and upgraded our condominiums to the point where we made a commitment to repair the structural issues that we were made aware of after we got into office, which the city knew about at the time and we did not. We as the new board did not. So we put together an architects review committee that wanted a fresh look for the weather-worn buildings, and we entered into a contract with Keystone Engineering and Concrete Restorations to fix our structural issues. We committed to upgrade our buildings to be hardened and hurricane rated. We had all buildings re-roofed with hurricane clips installed to help drive down our insurance costs, which had doubled in the past 3 years to over $650,000 a year just for our condo insurance. Everybody in a condo paid $170 every month just to pay our insurance bill. And so that drove up the cost of the assessments to $800 and $900 a month. We had all new water supply lines installed because the old ones were at the end of life and we were having lots of leaks. We required all units to have impact windows. So as we change over, everybody will be upgraded and our insurance should even go down more. This all came at an expense to owners. The cost of these projects added up to $10,300,000. So we put in place a special assessment. The special assessments per unit range from $53,000 to $91,000. Due May 1st of last year, January 1st of this year, May 1st of this year. Split up into 3 installments. Besides the special assessment, they have to pay for their impact windows at $17,000 a unit to have new windows put in because it's owner responsibility. The project we undertook has taken 1.5 years to 2 years. And as you can see on the screen there, we had the building skinned. They took off the old stucco because it was a brick stucco. John, if you go to the next slide. Some of the beams, the vertical columns were gone. I mean, there was actually holes in the walls. That's how bad off it was, which is what Keystone had said back in 2016 in an engineering report, but the past boards didn't share the report with the owners at the time. So what would have been $1.5 million back then turned into $8.4 million this year. So if they would have fixed the first time, it would have been much cheaper, but it is what it is. Next slide, John. That's what our buildings look like now. It's a colonial look, hence the name Jamestown. It was built as an apartment complex to bring space industry people here and make it feel like they were still back out east, back home. Okay, John? This is the new look of the building. If you've been by Palm Springs, this is what it's going to look like when it's complete. The new building is painted. There's no shutters, no new doors yet, but it's coming soon. Okay, that's Palm Springs. These are the condos on the inside of the complex will look like this. These are 1 unit per door, both up, 2 stories up and down. Okay, John, next. Next one. Go ahead. That's it. So that's sort of what we have and what we're going through. We believe that in the last 4 years that we've come a long way with changing the look and what's going into the complex. The complex has been valued at $20 million just from our insurance perspective. It keeps going up and up. As my wife says, I'm 600 steps from the beach. I said, I look out my front door at the pool. Who wants to get sand on their feet if I'm that close to the pool? And I can go to the bathroom and get another drink if I need to. So anyway, we love it here. We're not leaving. We're heavily invested in regards to the time that I put in because the pay as a president of an association is just so great, as you all know. But we see the vision, and we're excited about the project being completed. The owners have gotten excited about the project because they see what's happening. We believe that we're not only changing the look of Jamestown, but the legacy that we're going to leave to the Indian Harbor Beach city. Our commitment at getting it done is strongfold, and so you've seen the pictures, you see what we've done, you've heard a little bit about what we've done. I want to thank you for being here tonight and take any questions that you might have in regards to the complex or what's happening next. Anyone? It's going to be about 1.5 to 2 years till the project's done. They started in September of last year. They've gotten, out of 13 buildings, they've skinned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them to date. So they're getting one a month, 1.5 a month, every month and a half. So that's where we're at. I wanted to feed back to you because we stood here for the $1 million waiver. I mean, again, it was violations that had happened prior to us, and it was out of our control, but we recognized them, we fixed them. Having been a mayor in a previous life, I know that you don't want to piss off City Hall because it's not ever good. And so we recognized that was happened, and we engaged with Dave from the building department, and things are going smoothly. So with that, I just wanted to...
No question. I just wanted to say, comment. Thank you for coming and continuing to work with the city. I haven't been here since 2016, but I do remember the history 2 years ago. So I appreciate your continued effort of working with the city to get this right. So
You're welcome. Thank you,
You
Deputy
guys have
Mayor.
done a fantastic job.
Okay. Thank you very much. And hopefully we'll have a ribbon cutting when it's over.
Okay.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
All right. Next is item number 7, approval of minutes. Item 7A is the February 24th, 2026 budget workshop minutes. Does anyone on council have any changes they want to see? Councilmember Nutt, any changes?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Hearing that, I will sign those into the record. And then 7B is February 24th, 2026 regular city council meeting minutes. Any changes from anybody? No. Nope. Okay, I'll sign those in the record. Item 8A, city manager's report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members, residents gathered here and watching at home. A few informational items. Tomorrow night is the joint special meeting with the City of Satellite Beach City Council regarding the two cities' muck removal project. The meeting will start at 6 p.m. at the Satellite Beach Civic Center. However, due to their setup, the meeting will not be live streamed. A video will be posted on our city's YouTube channel on Thursday for those who cannot attend. At the end of February, I signed the attached bids to remove and mitigate potential airborne contaminants at City Hall and associated restoration. Combined bids just shy of $40,000. Funding will be transferred from the city manager's contingency account. The tracker is attached. Although at noon I thought the work was going to start later this week, later in the afternoon we confirmed it's going to start early next week, at which time parts of the building will be without air conditioning for several days at a time. We may be contacting you individually later this week or early next week about possibly moving the 24th meeting to the rec center once we have a little more clarity on their schedule. Additionally, last month I signed a quote for approximately $9,000 to install a new outfield fence as part of the fiscal year 26 capital project to reduce the size of Crispino Field and create 2 additional soccer open play areas. that work started today. Staff received a 50% reimbursement check from the state for the tree inventory grant project. We received our DEP ARPA check, but had to void it because the payee was not the city of Indian Harbor Beach. So DEP was very thankful when we pointed out their error, and they said a new check will be cut to us very soon. To possibly offset 50% costs of next year's body-worn camera capital project, Chief Butler and his staff prepared and submitted a grant proposal this week. The February monthly incident reports for the fire department are attached. Of note, 60 calls for service were responded. The legislative session is scheduled to end this Friday. However, the President of the House today stated that they will be going into overtime and not adjourning and calling a special session to deal the budget. There's already plans for a special session for redistricting. There's a strong likelihood a second special session will be called about property tax reform. The legislative tracker was emailed to you and provided in paper copies. Chief Butler has provided a list of thank yous to folks in his department, and Public Works crew leader Eric Larson for their efforts in the inaugural e-bike rodeo that was held this last Saturday, Ocean Breeze. We have a few items on the agenda coming up next month, and I'll point out one late addition to the upcoming calendar is that the Police Pension Board meeting is now scheduled for next Wednesday at 2 p.m. in the Police Department. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next is item 8B, which is City Attorney's Report.
On the sake of not saying anything, I wanted to just remind the council why we reduced the fine for Jamestown. The Jamestown fine was accruing at $250 a day because some of the Jamestown residents were actually modifying the common space above their units and making it habitable, which obviously causes fire issues and a whole host of things. That previous administration was more lip service than anything in cooperation with us. So what the council did, and I think it did the right thing, was say, listen, take that money, put it towards fixing the problem. And, they did pay us our out-of-pocket costs. But I just wanted to remind the council as to what happened with that Jamestown problem and why $1 million was waived. But that's the reason why. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Item 8C is council comments. We'll start with our Deputy Mayor.
As the city manager alluded to, session ends this Friday in Tallahassee. Anytime I have a captive audience, I'd like to just speak about the importance of looking into all the information when it comes to this potential property tax reform. It's happening very fast, so it's hard to follow. But I'm just nervous about some of these smaller cities like Indian Harbor, Satellite, some of these other smaller cities that aren't going to be able to essentially keep the lights on if they do pass this. So that's my just encouragement, and also following another House bill that's regarding golf cart crossings on highways, which could be a benefit to the potential golf cart ordinance that we just put in place with the city. And attended the Space Coast League of Cities last night with Councilmember Yorio was there. It was always a good event, and that's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Romy.
Just to add to what Adam's saying, I attended the South Beach Coalition meeting today, and all the talk was about property taxes, and just for people to be aware of exactly what it is. So hopefully we can get more information out. And Also, Chief Butler, you did a great job with the first bike rodeo. I imagine next year we're going to have a better date that'll draw lots more people, not on opening day of baseball. But it was a really good event and a great first time. That'll be it.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Yorio.
Yes, first, Mr. Klein, thank you for that presentation today. I was at the city council meeting when you presented your case about the renovations or the issues with the Jamestown condos. And so I have driven by there a number of times and seen the work that's being done there. And I want to commend you for the efforts that you and the others at the Jamestown condo have put into making that facility, that condo complex, so much better for our city and for the residents that are there. Secondly, I attended a planning and zoning meeting last week, and they were addressing something that we're going to be talking about in the agenda coming up. But I just wanted to mention that it was very impressive to see the how the planning and zoning group worked. It was the second time I've been to a planning and zoning meeting, and it's just an outstanding group of members of our city that perform that volunteer function of reviewing ordinances and other pending issues and provide that guidance to the city council. So I just wanted to commend the Planning and Zoning Board for the efforts that they do and the great job that they've done. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Nutt.
No comments, thank you.
All right, and I'll echo your comments regarding the Planning and Zoning Board. I think they do a fantastic job and kind of fly under the radar, but they put a lot of effort into the things that they have to consider, and we do appreciate their recommendations for sure. Okay, I do not have any comments other than that. On to item 8D, which is public comments on non-public hearing agenda items only. So obviously I believe there's a bunch of people here for item 10A, and there's a couple folks here for item 9A as well. What we'll do is I'll open those to public comment when those items come up. So if you're here to speak on those two items, you don't need to come up at this time. You'll have your time when we get to those items. All right, item 9, unfinished business, which is item 9A, continuance of tabling first reading of ordinance number 2026-04, which has to do with wildflowers. I know the staff recommendation is to continue this item. I think we are awaiting some language suggestions from the Tree Preservation Board, and I would certainly support that continuance, but defer to others on council to see what their thoughts are.
Yeah, but I believe that's my understanding as well. We're still waiting on some input from the Tree Preservation Board, which hasn't met yet. So I would be in favor of making a motion to keep this on the table. But obviously, if people would like to speak on this issue, we'd be more willing to hear about it.
Okay, Councilmember Rowland?
I also agree. I think we need to wait till the other information comes back.
Councilmember Yorio?
Concur. I think we discussed it quite a bit at the last meeting, and tabling it is the appropriate thing to do till we get more information and clean up the ordinance language.
All right, Councilmember Nutt?
I'm in agreement with the council.
Okay, with that being said, I will go ahead and, I'm doing this a little different than I normally would, but there was a couple of folks, or at least one, that wanted to come up and speak on this item. If you still wish to do so, you can come up and do that, and that's Alfreda Tuller. Hopefully I get your name right. State your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes, please.
Yes, my name is Elfrida Toller, and I live in 923 Lydia Circle, Indian Harbor Beach. And I've been in the same house for over 40 years. I was brought to my attention the ordinance of the native plantings and wildflowers. My concern is, first of all, the Tree Presentation Board, there's no transparency. They post something on the website, this tree recommended, this tree not recommended. You can't get hold of anybody. That's not transparency. Is that a legal thing, because I believe this board was formed by the council, and we do have council members on this board. If it's an inconvenience for members not to be called in the evening when they're home from work, then I'm not sure that this is serving the purpose. And a lady from the board, and she says she's an alternate, she also posted on Nextdoor to some of our concerns about the permits, that they are behind the friendly species which benefit our community and encourage these plantings as a whole and education. But I don't see any of this being done. I just see once a month a tree recommendation and a tree not recommended. So I'd like to have this explained further to me. If the ordinance that was put out, that people had to get a permit to put in native plants and wildflowers to have their yard designated as a Florida-friendly yard, and that ordinance is changed, I'm not sure, because that's not what the ordinance originally said. So I think it caused a lot of concerns. Where are the guidelines for this coming from? Is it the University of Florida, which basically has the umbrella for all the guidelines of invasive plants and the proper plantings throughout Florida? As a master gardener, myself, we follow this quite religiously and very carefully, and do not give advice unless it's guided by the University of Florida. Again, the City of Indian Harbor is not HOA, and the original ordinance that I read, it sounded rather a little overbearing. Is the Tree Preservation Board part of a code enforcement? Or is this just something that they want to go around and view personally? And how are they going to get permission to go onto people's yards to check if they have the correct native plants and the correct wildflowers or plantings for attracting pollinators?
Okay.
It's all very vague, so.
Thank you very much.
Pardon?
Thank you very much.
Okay,
3 minutes
thank you.
is up. I'm sorry. Okay, so. Votes? Okay. All right, so with that input, yeah. No, there was no motion.
I didn't make the motion. I was saying I would be in favor of making a motion. I hadn't made a formal motion yet.
hasn't been made yet, so,
Yes, sir.
yeah, with that, I would entertain a motion. Table.
I'd like to make a motion to keep ordinance number 2026-04 on the table.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Dyer and a second by Councilmember Iorio. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0 to continue. All right, next is item 10. 10A is ordinance number 2026-01, which is storage of commercial trailers and watercraft. Nikki, you want to read that ordinance?
An ordinance number 2026-01, an ordinance of the City of Indian Harbor Beach, Brevard County, Florida, amending Section 16 of Article 13, Supplementary District Regulations of Appendix A of the Code of Ordinances of the City relating to parking and storage of vehicles, amending Section 16C regarding the parking of trailers and watercraft on residential property, amending Section 19-18 of Chapter 19 of the Code of Ordinances of the City, providing for parking regulations for trailers and watercraft in residential zones, providing for conflict, severability, incorporation, and an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll go ahead and open the public comment. I'm going to read everyone's names. We have quite a few speakers to talk on this item. When you come up, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes. I do hold tight to the 3 minutes. It's not out of disrespect for you. I just said we have to maintain an efficient meeting and give everybody equal time. So the first person that is on the list here is like Corey Stanley.
Corey Stanley, 1246 Seminole Drive, Indian Harbor Beach. I just want to start by saying it's a little surprising that with the real issues people are facing locally, rising insurance costs, taxes, and the cost of living, we're here tonight talking about where people park their boats. I understand that some people may not like the look of boats being closer to the road, but requiring everybody to push them farther back to their property isn't as simple as it sounds. Many of the homes in this community have short driveways or limited space. For some homeowners, the only way to move a boat farther back would be to extend the driveway, remove landscaping, or pay for off-site storage. Those are real costs, and for many families right now, that creates a financial hardship. Another thing that's important to remember is that we do not live in an HOA community. Many of us chose to live here specifically because we value the freedom to reasonably use our property without a long list of rules and restrictions. As long as people are being respectful, maintaining their property, and not creating safety issues, we should be careful about enforcing rules that start taking away those freedoms. It's a small beach community, and what makes small communities work is understanding that not every property is the same and not every family situation is the same. One rule that might be easy for some neighbors could be a real burden for others. I would just ask before we start enforcing these restrictions, we think carefully about whether this is really a problem that requires a rule or if it is something that neighbors can handle with communication, common sense, and a little understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Callie Litchfield.
My name is Callie, and I live at 938 Flotilla Club. Thank you for your time tonight. We've lived here for 26 years, and we bought here strictly because it was not an HOA. We own both a boat and a work trailer. We pay our taxes, insurance, registration, and tags, plus business license for both the city and the county. Private property rights refer to the legal rights of individuals to own, use, and manage property without the interference from others, including the government. I am blown away at the amount of people upset and wanting to dictate others compared to the number of people not upset about their freedoms and rights being taken away. I believe in your pursuit of happiness, which consists of our boat for leisure purposes and our work trailer for our livelihood. Our work trailer is moved on a daily basis, so can we please change this ordinance? For example, if the trailer is hitched to the truck. Our trailer is only 12 feet long, so technically, is that legal? Actually, what this boils down to is, do we have our freedoms for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness or not? Are you, as elected officials, going to help protect our property rights? We do not block the sidewalk, and we do not park in the road. We do not damage our neighbors' property or harm their freedoms. We are not encroaching on the property rights of others, so taking anything that they own free and clear, So that means we are not infringing on our neighbor's property, their rights, or their freedom. In all reality, that is what is happening to us. We cannot get behind our home or even to the side of our house. Believe me, I wish we could. Can we change the ordinance to maybe a certain amount of feet back from the curb, kind of like Cocoa Beach? Cocoa Beach is 8 feet back from the curb and less than 26 feet long that is allowed out front. I feel that's reasonable, and maybe this could be for people that cannot get behind their home. To be honest, most of our neighbors that do not have a dog in this fight could care less. I feel like the people that wish to control others should be the ones to move to an HOA where they can dictate even the color that you paint your house. We are supposed to be a laid-back, island-style beachside community, and with all due respect, I do not feel like an entitled child. I am 50 years old, and I just want to keep my personal property on my private property. In my opinion, both our work trailer and boat look fine, and I respect the opinions of others, but the bottom line is this is about property rights. In closing, I'll repeat the definition again. Private property rights refer to the legal rights of individuals to own, use, and manage their property without the interference from others. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your time.
The next is Nick Furrow.
Good evening, everybody. Nick Furrow, 113 Mayaka Drive, Indian Harbor. I just wanted to say that I'm a lifelong resident of Indian Harbor Beach. I grew up here my whole life, and growing up, we had a boat the whole time. It's this isn't just a little beach town for me, you know. Boating and fishing aren't just hobbies; it's a lifestyle for me and my family, at least. This is a beach community, and asking families to pay for off-site storage and take additional expenses is just ridiculous. I know this firsthand because I'm actually one of the owners of Palm Bay Marina. I would love to store everybody's boat there, but even for me, I store my boat at my house. It's the safest place. I've been robbed there twice this year, lost over $60,000. So storages aren't the greatest for people. When people buy boats, it's a big expense for them, and it's an investment for their family to make memories and dreams. And living here, that's what I had growing up, and now I have a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old at home, and I want the same for them. And some of these families can't afford it, so I just hope that maybe we could come to something where families can have their boats at their home. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to butcher this one. Jeff Kosicki. That's close.
Good evening. How is everyone doing tonight? My name is Jeff Kaziski. I live at 217 Atlantic Boulevard. And, not allowing our boats to be stored is reasonable because it makes it's common practice living in a coastal community that we live in. The areas near the waterways, it's a normal recreational activity that we enjoy. And we should be allowed to, as owners, to maintain and keep our boats in our yards, in our driveways, and our the side of our house. And then it's convenient to properly be able to maintain them. And also, the marinas and public space, there is theft. There's a lot of things that we don't see that it's going to happen to our investment. It consists with our lifestyle here, where we live in a coastal community again. Also, some people have sports cars, It's registered, it sits in your driveway. My sports car is my boat, and that's just the way I see it, And I'd like to have my sports car in my driveway. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Todd Alspaugh.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and council members for your time on this issue. I know it's volunteer and it's a lot of work, so I definitely appreciate that. I just wonder if anybody that opposes or that sits up here, maybe Mr. Nutt on the phone, if any of you maybe have a trailer or a boat that you currently have beside your house, so you're in compliance, so you don't mind being against other people having a boat somewhere else, because this isn't going to affect you. You won't be affected by the ordinance or the fines or whatever. Maybe if you didn't have the room to put it beside your house, would you be singing a different tune, maybe? So put yourself in the shoes of others, I'll say, to start this off. I also want to make sure, because at the zoning board, people kept mentioning gravel wouldn't be good enough to park a boat or a trailer on, so we should make them do concrete. Well, there's ordinances about concrete driveways, I think, need to be 8 feet off properties, etc. So if you make that a requirement, gravel, you can go closer. If you make that a requirement, you end up making a heck of a lot of people not be able to have a trailer or a boat at their house. Not also, the expense is crazy. Gravel may be a few $100s, probably less, definitely less than $1,000. Concrete, you're going well over $1,000 if you can even do it, and you have to get a permit for that. So that makes it even more prohibitive. Let's say as long as a boat's not or a trailer's not blocking a public easement or a road, I don't really see an issue with people having it on their properties. You know, I'm a proponent, being a veteran, 3 combat tours, of constitutional rights and property rights. So this is important to me whether I have a boat or not. You know I'm trying to sell my boat, so this won't even affect me. I can also get my boat far enough back. I believe it may be, the tongue may be an inch past. I wonder how strict we will be on that. So I'll find out, I guess, possibly. If you don't allow people to park in their driveways or in their yards, imagine the amount of hooked up trailers that'll be on the roads, blocking the roads. I already can't get through some of the roads and some of the intersections with all the trailers and trucks and things parked on the side of the road. Imagine if it's even more with e-bikes wheeling through, because by the way, they're still wheeling all across front of my house all times of day and night. So anyway, that's for the police. Let's worry about real issues that affect safety and our tax money, like homeless and drug addicts passed out in the parks, on the park benches. I can't sit at the table sometimes with my kids. I don't want them
Thank you very
seeing that
much.
stuff. It's
Thank you, sir.
disgusting.
Sorry,
It's
your time's up.
disparaging. That was 3 minutes. Wow, that was quick.
Sorry. Thank you. Devin Batchelor.
Well, Devin Batchelor, I'm at 920 Golden Beach Boulevard. Kind of echoing what everybody's sort of saying before, you know, the yards are small. We have small lots here in Indian Harbor Beach. I would love to put our boat on the side of the yard. Unfortunately, that's also where our sprinkler pump is, so it's impossible and we can't do that. We are also currently house shopping and looking around for something, and now this will change the whole trajectory. Can we fit our boat there? But the bigger issue to me is my husband is a local contractor. He has a work trailer. If you're taking away the ability for people to park their work trailers and run a business, that's really going to affect the local people in this town. Your plumbers, your electricians, your mobile dog groomer, your, you know, whatever your business is. Yeah. There you go. Lawn guys, pool guys, all these people that everybody benefits from and wants to hire, these are our neighbors. And I don't think people are realizing that their personal opinion on, oh, I don't want to see a boat or a trailer in the driveway, how much it's going to affect people's livelihood. So that's really all I have to say. I really think with taking the lot size and everything into consideration, I'm sure we would all love to have big lots where we can park all of our stuff in the backyard, but we don't. But you know, we love it here, and that's why we stay. So that's all I got.
Thank you. I have the original David Nutt. David Nutt the first.
Dave Nutt, 645 DeSoto Lane. I'm a little outnumbered here tonight because I've raised so much cane about it. But I do have 45 petitions here signed by people that couldn't show up. That's are totally opposed to this, except we all want to live within the ordinance and give people a place to put their boats, in which we have an ordinance to that says you can park as many boats as you want beside your house with your work trailer, but you can't park it in your front yard. This ordinance has been in effect for years, so you folks have been breaking the law for years. And I think
Excuse me,
that's-
sir.
that's the-
Excuse me.
You
Hey.
have to break the law. Nobody enforces it. And that's what I'm here
Nah.
for.
No
I'll
outbursts from the
volunteer
crowd,
to be an
please.
enforcement. I'll be a code enforcement officer for you. I'll volunteer at the time. But that's not the point. I think we have a good code here, and it's protecting everybody's boat. It's beside their house. And the commercial trailers shouldn't be in anybody's driveway. That is not a proper thing to have in the driveway. If you're going to have a commercial trailer there, we should charge you a commercial tax. I have properties down here. I pay, for the same square footage, I pay $3,800 a year for 2,000 square feet. The house in the same neighborhood pays $1,600 a year. If you want to be commercial in your front yard, pay a commercial tax on your home and lose your benefits of having a cheap tax. You can't have a business in your front yard and then blame somebody else for being aggravated about it when all these people are paying taxes on buildings that they have their businesses in that you use every day also. So I think it's unfair in that part, but I think we do have a law that takes care of it. We shouldn't have to adjust. I don't know where you stop the adjusting. What comes in there next? You have a lawn trailer, the next one be a roofing company, and I don't know where it stops. You know, you can't,
Excuse me, guys.
but you can't have everybody in every business, and there's plenty of places you can park these things that are secure. And that's about all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is Nicole Dooley.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Dooley. I'm at 119 Freddie Street. I grew up in Indian Harbor Beach all my life. We raised our family here. My husband is a local business owner. He has a commercial work trailer. We also have a boat that we keep in our driveway, and both of them are actually parked legally behind our front property line. But we're still in support of allowing our local homeowners to be able to do that. We just are fortunate. We have a long driveway. We're one of the few. But it's really important that we continue to be able to have our commercial trailer parked in our driveway as well as our boat trailer. I'm also the president of a local not-for-profit that supports children's sailing education. Sometimes I bring the trailer home that also has sailboats that our youth travel to regattas in. So again, we're fortunate to have a really big driveway that accommodates all of that. But it's really important to us to be able to support our community, provide, for the local business that my husband has that supports our local homeowners and their remodeling and things like that. And we truly appreciate the city of Indian Harbor Beach and the fact that we don't have a homeowners association here. That's why we bought here. So thank you.
Thank you. David Netzley.
Good evening. David Netzley, 275 Datura Drive. Born and raised in the area. Moved back here over 10 years ago. And there is an ordinance in place currently that has made compromises to allow people to park luxury items like boats and RVs on their property within the confines of that ordinance. And it's been in place for a while, so nobody's talking about taking any rights away that are currently not available to them. The ordinance also, as I understand it, is to allow business owners that have these vehicles or trailers to park them in the front yard. That's opening up a Pandora's box of turning neighborhoods into Tomahawk Drive. We don't buy houses in commercial areas. That's why we buy houses there, because we want to live with our neighbors. I understand the hardships that some people have, but after COVID, there's been people, sure, that have lost their homes because they can't afford them. People suffer financial hardships. all the time. Sometimes boat ownership and the expenses that go along with it aren't something that people are able to sustain. House purchases, same thing. We bought our house and we looked specifically for a house that would allow us to park our boats or our RVs on the property. We've built a special pad for those, and we use them all the time. We enjoy it. Again, I understand the hardships, but there's expenses with businesses, there's expenses with luxury items, and those shouldn't interfere with residences and their property values. We don't have an HOA, as several people have mentioned. That's why there's ordinances like this that are in place to protect our home values and to make sure that our residential area stays commercial. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Doug Cook.
Hello. I'm Doug Cook, 201 Harbor Drive West. Mayor Nickel and council members, I appreciate you taking your time for this. But it seems like we're beating a horse to death. We've done this before, and when I left the last time before, I guess it was in December, Mayor Nichols said, there shouldn't be any opposition to this. This should be okay. There's no opposition. So I'm a little confused. And, getting back to the Florida Friendly Yard, man, I need to do that because I'm busting my butt all the time in my yard to keep it nice. And at 203 Harbor Drive West, it looks like an abandoned house. But he's a nice guy. I like him. We communicate. Indian Harbor Beach was established in 1955, 2 years after I was born. All of a sudden, boats are a problem. After 71 years, it's a problem. When I see a boat, I think that person's having fun. Like my buddy Nick over here, he goes out every weekend. He doesn't take me with him. I'm a little upset about that. But he's got like a $200,000 boat, and he loves his boat. But and then I look at other people, and they're jealous and hateful because you have fun. Maybe they're not fun people. I don't know what it is. For example, I heard there's some guy running around putting illegal flyers in mailboxes trying to recruit boat haters. What is so bad about a boat? It's not an HOA, but I know your mind's already made up. That's the feeling I get. But we as taxpayers have a right to have a boat. We pay taxes, high taxes. We have the houses over here, it's very expensive. And boat docks everywhere. I don't understand this. But I think with this ordinance that you're proposing, which I already think you voted on and you're going to implement it, it appears to be a problem with selective enforcement in the future is what I'm looking at. So I hope it doesn't get to that. But I do appreciate all of you people working for our beautiful city, Indian Harbor Beach. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Next is Randy Newman.
Good evening. My name is Randy Newman, address 235 Marion Street. Obviously, you guys have seen me before. It's just that our property lots are small, and we end up having to park our boat on the driveway. It does not disturb the sidewalk. It does not disturb the street. I live on a street where I see kids going to school every day. And we're just asking that for the ones that don't have wide enough spaces on the side of the house, that we can park our boats and trailers on the driveway. It's registered and it's accordance, and I just say that, again, we don't live in HOA. The other thing that I brought to attention last time during the planning and zoning meeting is that having a boat and trailer in a driveway does not devalue someone's house. I'm in real estate, spoke to an appraisal, and when an appraisal goes to a house and the next door neighbor has a trailer if it's a work trailer, a boat trailer, we don't look at that. We look at the square footage, we look at the size of the home, and we compare it to all other homes that are sold. And so, we ask that you guys make it to where it would be possible to have the boat trailer or work trailer in the driveway as long as it doesn't cause harm to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Lane Burney?
Hello, I'm Lane Burney, 1234 Seminole Drive. This is my third time up at this podium in the last couple of months, as you guys know. The real truth is here, I have a petition as well. I have more names on it than Mr. Nutt over there. And these were actually gotten by door to door, not by putting things in people's mailboxes unresponsibly, sir. So, as one of the other gentlemen said, I kind of feel like there's 3 of you guys that have already made up your mind, and Mr. Nutt is not here, but he's included in that. Unfortunately, there is a lot of things going on in this world, and for this to be a topic is just kind of out of control, in my opinion. I feel like, again, the mention of HOAs, storage isn't safe. There's so many different things that we could come up here and talk about, and that we have talked about over and over again. And honestly, at this point, you guys just have to make a decision, correct? That is what we're here for, is for you guys to make your best decision that you can make for your residents. Mr. Nutt, last meeting, talked about the fact that he had 12 friends that were opposed. His 12 friends were not here. He's a council member speaking about 12 people that don't want to show up. It's been obvious that all of these meetings so far, that the people who have boats and the boat owners are the ones that care about this. You guys put it out in your newsletter, and still nobody's shown up to defend themselves against us, correct? So at the end of the day, I just feel like I have a small boat. I do use mine for work. It's not commercial, it's not a commercial vessel though. And when I got the paperwork from the city talking about they want me to send paperwork in with my license numbers and actual revenue, what? I'm not sending any of that information to you guys. You guys don't need that information. That's my personal information. I do use my boat for work. I do make money and support my family using my vessel. But it is not a commercial vessel with a name on it that is tranced around the town. That's not how it works. So, in my opinion, I just feel like, again, I have a list of a petition here with a bunch of people that signed them. And he said he had 47. I have more than 47, sir. Well, where's it going to go? You guys have to make the best decision for the 9,000 people or for the people who care about this. Because the truth is there's not 8,000 people standing behind me telling me to put my boat somewhere else. It's really, in my opinion, 3 people that are standing in front of me, missing 1, that are telling me what I can and can't do with my vessel. And that's really where I find it odd, and that it's just interesting. And so I don't live in an HOA. I can paint my house any color. I can decorate my front yard any way I would like.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Linda Richard.
Hi, Linda Richard, 11 Yacht Club Lane. Thank you, everybody, for your time being here. Just so I make sure that we're all clear on here, because it seems like we're getting a little sidetracked. We're here for the ordinance to put commercial trailers and boats on your property. And if I'm correct, and please correct me if I've misunderstood, at the meeting last week, the zoning board recommended against that because it was opening up a lot of unknowns. The ordinance that was presented was very vague, and unclear of what could happen. I have lived here for over 10 years. This ordinance has been in place since we bought our house. When we looked for a house, we knew we wanted to have a boat. We purposely found a place that could accommodate and abide by the laws. Yes, it's an expense. It's a luxury item. We had to make sure that we had enough room beside our house. We built a special area so we could store our boat there. It's just the cost of having a boat. That's just for if I want to have my personal recreation. I'm not against people having boats. I'm all for it. Businesses, trailers in my house, it's a residential area. I want it to be a residential area. If you're doing business and you want a trailer or a truck or whatever it is, it's the cost, it's the operational cost of your business. I don't like it. I have a business. I have lots of operational costs that I wouldn't like to pay either. It's just the cost of doing business. So the question is all this time, we haven't been enforcing the ordinances, whether it's for residential trailers or boats. Maybe that's the question that we should be addressing right now. Why are we not addressing that? And now that we are starting to enforce it, now we're going to get the feedback from the few people that are going to be outspoken. Few, maybe it's more than few, but I think the fact of the matter that you don't see a lot of people here opposed to it is because they're abiding by the law and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're keeping their property where it's supposed to be and they're being respectful of their neighbors and of the ordinance. The ordinance is in place. The city put it together. We chose to live here. If we don't like it, then maybe as a city of the whole, then we put that on the agenda to vote against or for. But I think right now, I think we're kind of getting a little bit off the subject because if I understand correctly, we're really talking about not residential. We're talking about do we want business trailers and trucks in our property? And right now, I would like our residential area to stay residential. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Adam Azar.
Adam Azar, 215 Atlantic. Thank you all very much for your time tonight. In consideration of this matter, obviously this is a very important issue to our whole town. Obviously not everybody's here, but a lot of different ones of us did go door to door knocking, not putting things in mailboxes, and there's a lot of support within a couple hours. We got more signatures. I did attach some signatures. We did attach a copy of the petition to that so you can see that. A few things to address, I've been here through the past few meetings that we've addressed this. I was here for the zoning meeting, the workshop, the one before that. I want to address some things that haven't been said. The opponents or the people that are against allowing residents to have a boat or a trailer, their biggest arguments are saying you can have as many as you want, or you have to do things properly. We are trying to do things properly, and no one's saying we want as many trailers or boats. We're looking for laws and guidelines that you can consider to give us some rules and regulations to follow so that you might consider properties that just can't put their boat or trailer behind their house. One gentleman said something, you need to pay a commercial tax. There is a commercial tax to the city of Indian Harbor Beach. I've paid for it ever since I've lived in this town. It's a specific tax for having a business. Allowing people to have a trailer is not going to make people start new businesses. These people either have a business at their house or wherever they operate from or not. So saying that, and another thing I want to clarify is that the way that it was written in the Indian Harbor Beach newsletter and the way that it's written in the itinerary agenda for tonight is you're asking to consider commercial boats and commercial trailers. Well, the first meeting that everyone spoke at, we were not asking about commercial boats or commercial trailers. We were asking to be able to have the right to park a boat or a trailer in our front yard. So the sidelining of the issue to focus on commercial is making it harder for these residents to just have their personal property. It's not, we're not trying to have a commercial. And if it's so that, if there needs to be a regulation where you can have one thing in front of your house a boat or a trailer, everything else needs to be the back, then whatever those rules, we implore you to search those options and make a discovery on what we can do to find a resolution that works for everybody. This is not a commercial thing. This is a residential thing. People want to have their personal property on their personal property that we pay taxes. We pay a lot of money to live in this town. And we just hope that you will consider finding some middle ground here, because these people are essentially wanting to take away our rights, and we're just looking for a medium ground to live and exist in our town. And in a wartime, it's crazy to implement something like this. I mean, we're about to start World War III here, which we've already possibly started, and now everybody's going to have to sell their property. And I
Thank you
appreciate
very
your
much.
time. Thank you.
Benjamin Sullins. It was a long tail on the U, so it got me confused.
Hi, Ben Sullins at 921 Golden Beach Boulevard. So everyone touched on a lot of things here that we've echoed in the past 3 meetings. So I see a lot of boat owners here, people in favor. They've come out here for 3 meetings now, sacrificing their after work, after school, wherever they do. Okay, so every single time, people have had to abandon commitments they've had afterwards. So we're on our 3rd meeting now, going over this. In our 2nd meeting, the city had tasked someone from the city to look at local ordinances of the places around here, if I'm correct. So, and all those places that were found did not allow boat parking, right? So those were just in the local community. Somehow, I was able to find several within our local community that have ordinances that allow boat parking. Imagine that. So this is not something unprecedented. So I'm just going to go over a couple of them here. So City of Rockledge, total length must be under 22 feet, must be on a paved surface, covered, tagged, and clear of sidewalk. That sounds reasonable. City of Cape Canaveral, generally permitted on driveways largely accommodating narrow-sized lots and a barrier island, cannot block the sidewalk. City of Oak Hill, explicitly permitted in front of driveway with proper zoning. And this is just in our local community. So there's several others with a very cursory search. I'm just going to name off cities here. City of Jacksonville Beach, Citrus County, City of Key West, Town of Davie, City of Palmetto, Pinellas Park. These are all cities I found within a few minutes of searching the internet that allow boat parking. I'm just going to highlight 2 of them that are hardship boat parking, just examples of ordinances. City of Palmetto, permitted only if side or rear parking is impossible, requires 5-foot setback from property line. That sounds like a reasonable compromise between boat owners and folks that they're not in favor of this. I'm going to go over my 2nd one here. Same thing. Strictly requires rear parking not accessible. So that is City of Palmetto. City of Palmetto, Pinellas Park. And I'm just going to highlight of an ordinance that I think everyone here feels overreach. So City of Coral Gables does not allow pickup trucks to be parked in their city. I only have 20 seconds here, so I'm not going to go into details here, but yeah. So City of Coral Gables does not allow pickup truck parking. So please allow us some compromise here, some regional accommodation, so people are not trying to park a Titanic in their front yard. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. Kevin Hayes.
Good evening. Kevin Hayes at 2 Yacht Club Lane. Excuse me. I moved here about 4 years ago. Been in Brevard County for over 40 years. Lived mainly on the mainland. Lived in many HOAs. Decided to take the chance and the opportunity to live beachside, something we always wanted to do. Kids grew up, so we made the move. But in doing so, like some other people have said, we took our time. We looked at houses that would conform to RV parking on the side. That was our biggest thing. To get the house we have now, we went through 8 different contracts to get that house. So I'm all for property rights. A lot of us have served in the military for our freedoms, but it's always been a struggle as far as a person's rights versus other people's rights. You always have that conflict going on. One of the concerns I had, again, with the draft that was proposed, bringing commercial trailers and such into the residential neighborhood, I didn't think that was right because a lot of us are looking for houses in residential areas. That's why we have residential and commercial. And with that being said, too, I feel sorry for people who have businesses and are trying to make a go of it. I myself made a bad decision years ago and had a carpet business. And at that time, I had to pay for a leasing on 192. And I can understand the things you go through trying to operate a business. But, and all respect to everyone here. You know, we're all adults, and it's hard. You try to teach our children this. We have to make a lot of hard choices. And some of those choices have to do where you live and what requirements are there in that particular neighborhood. I know sometimes it's not fair, but I mean, that's the choices we make. And that's what we gotta live with those choices. So I understand where a lot of people are coming from, and I feel for you. Maybe if we can change things that benefit all, but it doesn't always work out that way. There's always going to be people for something and people against. So that's all I have to say. I'm still recommending keeping the ordinance as is and no commercial trailers and such, watercraft in the residential neighborhoods. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Carol Broussard.
Carol Broussard, 509 Carriage Road, Indian Harbor Beach. For those that don't know, that's Bay Village. It's a tiny little strip down by Satellite Beach. If you drive down our street, the trees are maintained, cars are off the street, and we are very proud of the way we maintain our cut through to Satellite Beach. I would like to begin by saying I do not believe in the putting residential and commercial businesses or homes together. We bought homes in Indian Harbor Beach based on the fact that we were in a nice residential neighborhood. We owned a home in Manatee Reserve and moved to a 4-bedroom home due to grandchildren. I fail to see how putting a trailer next to me is going to solve anybody's problem, because basically what I'm hearing people talk about, the bottom line is money. When you get to, can I afford a boat? Can I afford to put it on a trailer? Where can I afford to keep the boat? That's a choice you make. We own a pontoon boat. It's in a 3-car garage that we own, not in Indian Harbor Beach. I own a 3-horse slant load trailer. Horses are my passion. I don't own anything beachside, okay? So are you saying that I can put my trailer in my front yard? Do you know what a three-horse trailer looks like? The way this is written is so vague, people are associating it with boats. It's a beach community. It doesn't necessarily have to be boats the way it's written. We own an RV. The RV is stored on property we own. It costs money to own these things. Would I like to get rid of some of them? Yes, you can talk to my husband about that if you'd like to. But we still own them. And we have to pay for them. We have to maintain them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Chris Richard.
Chris Richard, 11 Yacht Club Lane. So we moved here, for those that were in the military, you know, after a career in the military, moved here in 2015. Looked around, and okay, I won't go there. So we looked around, when we shop around for the house, we look for a place that has a quality neighborhood and quality residents. And of all the places we looked, we landed here at Indian Harbor Beach. And it's because of the quality of the neighborhoods that attracted us there. Part of that, you know, we can talk about, you know, real estate and appraisal and everything else, but for us, part of our decision matrix was how many cars are on the street, you know, where, you know, people parking lots of boats, trailers, work. So that is in our equation. It might not be in everybody's, but it was in ours, and so that's why I'm up here, you know, kind of addressing that. We're not looking necessarily at the value of our house for resale. I want to live in it, and so I want to live in a nice quality neighborhood. Also equally confused on what's on the agenda tonight because we're talking a lot about residential stuff, and what's on the agenda is commercial. Right now, I'm here for the commercial side of this discussion. We separate. There's no reason for zoning boards if we want to have commercial and residential areas kind of merged together. But society has long decided that's not a really good plan. And so what I'm going to ask the board to do, one, put it on the record against commercial vessels, whether it be commercial business with a commercial boat, commercial business with a private boat, commercial business with a jet ski, whatever the criteria is, we're asking you guys to do the right thing, uphold what the zoning board was recommending, saying this should not go forward as far as the commercial side of it. So there we go. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. We'll close the public. Wait a minute. How's that possible?
No one can forget you.
No way. Hold on. The chances of that happening twice are unbelievable, and it did happen. I'm so sorry. David Noble, please come forward and state your name and address. Sorry about that.
Dave Noble, I live at 1206 Pine Tree. I also have a business on Tomahawk Drive. I'm all for boats in the front yard. I'm a boater, been all my life, and but limit it. You know, some of you may have seen the 30-some-odd footer that I put in the front yard on Pine Tree Drive. Not one person came to complain, not one code enforcer, not one. It was a test? No. When I hauled it, I had to put it somewhere. I went to the hospital for 10 days, and then as soon as I got out, I moved it to Tomahawk Drive. But what I'm saying, I heard that you guys are already convinced. I heard the planning and zoning has stipulations. I'm sorry I missed all that. I heard you get papers. Well, I didn't get any papers. But anyway, I would think you should be able to put your boat, especially if you can't get it to the backyard or side yard, just like Pinellas County or whatever was able to do that. But limit it. Limit it to one boat. I know that when I had 10 boats, I put them all in the backyard, and nobody could see them, so nobody complained. Put 2 or 3 in the front yard, you should get complaints. All right, commercial trailers. I rode around the town here way back around Thanksgiving, and, yeah, we are all working class. We have our trailers that we need. I understand that. But my neighbor, holy cow, 2 trailers, 2 tractors, pile of pallets, and he was there for 5 years. I mean, where is the enforcement there? And there's 3 other houses that, if I was a code enforcer, I would be on top of them. Maybe you are. But, I would love to say that, you could, have your trailer there or whatever, and a lot of us have the utility, enclosed utility trailers, and they don't look too bad, but yet, this is a residential. Kind of hard to find parking for all these things, but it can be found. I also just want to say a couple things, is that if it is a problem, have we done a survey of all the places? Like I drove around or rode around, and I saw a few places, but not a lot. But anyway, couple of other things. Slow down on Pine Tree Drive. I got a granddaughter who plays, I got a dog, and sometimes you guys scare me. And the other thing, beachcombers, I love you. Picking up that trash every morning. I love it.
Did I miss anybody else? Okay. We're done? No. Sorry.
All I know is you have a boat on the seal behind you, so just keep that in mind when you guys.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, if you filled out a sheet and you came up to speak, that's fine. You get your 3 minutes. If you did not, then you forfeit that. So we've gone through all the speaker cards at this point. So now it's time to bring it back to council for discussion. I guess I'll start it off. Why not? So I always try to work with an open mindset, with compromise in mind if possible. I understand the property rights argument, your right to own a boat. Nobody's trying to take away your right to own a boat. But I also understand the issue of what Mr. Noble mentioned. You get a property that has 5 different trailers and boats and everything piled all over the front yard. That's not a good look. I don't think that's a good look in anyone's eyes. So it's something that I'm struggling with, that part of it. The clutter is, to me, is a huge problem potentially. I've seen a few yards that you have that situation on there, and it doesn't look good. That's all there is to it. Now, with that being said, if we were to move forward with anything on changing the current ordinance, it would have to be quite restrictive. It would be, in the way my opinion on this is no commercial trailers, period. If boats are allowed, it would be a single boat of a limited size. Still no encroachment into sidewalk areas, of course, can't have that. And it needs to be parked in a driveway. And I understand that creates potentially a monetary impact to some folks. But, owning these things does cost money. I'm not trying to be insensitive to that, but there has to be limitations on this if it is going to move forward. So again, my opinion is no commercial trailers. If there were boats allowed, it would be a smaller size boat, and it would be one and only one, and parked in a driveway. So, but if it can fit on the side yard, it needs to be on the side yard. Again, I understand that could involve some expense for some folks, but if you can get it on the side yard and get it behind your front building line, essentially honoring the current ordinance that's in place, that needs to happen. So that's where I am at this time. Deputy Mayor Dyer.
I just want to thank everybody for continuing to show up and voice your concerns, because ultimately this is your community and we're supposed to represent you guys. This is the third time that we are speaking about this, and if you guys have been here for all three, you recall that I'm against this ordinance. I'm in favor of, well, first off, I think this conversation started out over personal watercraft boats, and then it's kind of, after the second meeting, morphed into a commercial, trailer storage, which I think those are two separate issues and should be two separate ordinances. I also agree that I think some of the conversation in these last meetings were that, all the residents that continue to show up and speak against this boat ordinance isn't a good representation of the city. Once again, I still have to disagree with that, because I think this is obviously a good representation that many residents are against this boat ordinance. I think that boats should be allowed to be parked in your front yard on a, not your yard, on a finished surface, because many boats can't fit on the side yard. I think it should, as long as it's not blocking a sidewalk, it's not, it's not in the easement, off the road 4 to 8 feet. One boat, and it's not a derelict boat. It's, it's maintained, it's covered, it's licensed, it's tagged, and all that. I've said it all three meetings. I'm going to say it again. We're a boating community. I don't see a problem with people storing their boats in their front property, and I'm opposed to this ordinance.
Councilmember Romy.
Okay, I don't have a boat or a trailer, so I don't have a dog in this fight. There's no personal opinion. I can only go, I know a lot of people in this audience and have talked to lots of people. Everyone wants to be able to have their boat on their property. So I would definitely support that. I don't think having good neighborhood aesthetics and a boat are mutually exclusive. I think they can be together. But just to touch on the trailer, which I agree it should be two separate ordinances, but here we are. I think it's a lot to ask of blue-collar workers to pay. I called around. It would be an average of $3,000 a year to store a work trailer. I don't think that's fair to do in this economy. I think people are fearing that there's going to be an influx of work trailers and large trucks. I don't think that's the case. I know there's 3 work trailers on my block. They're not very cumbersome. They park them pretty far back, but that's their livelihood, and I don't think it's fair to mess with that. And also, one of these people pointed out to me, they keep thousands of dollars of tools in their trailer. They don't want to store it somewhere, because what if it gets broken into? So I think when it comes to the trailers, Carl, I've mentioned this to you and I'm still confused, sorry. But statute 559.955 about local government may not act or enforce any ordinance that encroaches on a business. I'm still wondering, I don't know if it's there. Oh, you did, thank you. I'm still trying to figure out how that works.
What this statute does is it protects certain activities conducted from a home business occupation, and that's defined in the statute. What that statute says is that a vehicle or trailer associated with a home business occupation is basically allowed to be parked in the residential area. If you were to apply a no trailer ordinance across the board, then you could prohibit it. So they can't be treated differently than a regular, a house trailer or someone has on their property. So that statute will protect you. Now, it defines what a home business occupation is, and you'd have to meet those criteria. But as a general statement, we're unable to regulate vehicles or trailers operated or parked at the business or on, of a home business, which is a residence, so they're protected. But that being said, if it's not a home business occupation, you can't bring a commercial trailer on the property. So you'd have to meet the definition under that statute. And they passed this couple of 4 or 5 years ago. So that would be one caveat I would have to throw out there as far as the no commercial trailers. If it's associated with a home business occupation under 559, it will be allowed.
Okay, thank you. I also just want to add that for both of these things, like the mayor just said, there's got to be a compromise in there, whether it's one boat at a certain size or whether it's one trailer at a certain size. I'm sure there is a compromise to be had. So, there you go.
Okay. Councilmember Yorio.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody coming tonight, sharing their comments in some of the cases for the third time. So one of the things that I had asked the staff to do for the very first meeting, anticipating people coming and speaking against the recreational boat and RV ordinance, was to put together a presentation that showed all the local communities around here and what their ordinances were. So Brevard County, the state of Florida, all the beachside communities around here have an ordinance either identical or very similar to the existing ordinance that the city currently has. So as a city council, we have to represent everybody in the city. And although a lot of people came and spoke against having an ordinance at the first city council meeting, the workshop, and a few showed up at the planning and zoning. A number of people did show up at planning and zoning, including tonight, speaking in favor of the existing ordinance. So the ordinance that we currently have, actually, and I think someone brought this point up, it's a little confusing because part of the amendment talks about limiting the recreational vehicles being parked on the property. The second part of it is specifically addressing commercial vehicles, or commercial trailers and boats. So there are a large number of people that are in favor of maintaining the ordinance, despite the fact that two different competing sides of this issue have brought signatures from petitions. They're irrelevant in this particular meeting because a city council meeting and public comments is not a referendum vote. So, given the fact that there's a lot of people on both sides of this issue, and we have a current ordinance in place, and the fact that I believe that this issue is significant because I mentioned this in a previous meeting, that in my drive from my house to city council, there are 13 houses with violations of this ordinance, and 3 of those houses have multiple boats parked on their driveway. So if we were to consider amending the ordinance to allow people to park boats on their driveway or trailers or RVs on their driveway, you're going to get into a situation where it's that number of violations is only going to increase. Therefore, I am in favor of maintaining the existing trailer and boat ordinance and not approving the amended ordinance as presented here. I also want to point out one other thing. I don't think this was mentioned, is that the Planning and Zoning Board recommendation in deciding if they would approve the ordinance was unanimously, it was a unanimous recommendation to the City Council that they not approve the ordinance amendment. To not approve it. That's correct. That is correct. But if you take a moment to read the ordinance amendment, the first half of it talks about limiting all boats and trailers on your driveway, and then the second half directly addresses commercial. No, the current ordinance is no.
excuse me, you can't do that, sorry, sure, can't. Just hold on, hold on, just, okay, stop, please. All right, we have one more council member to hear from, so let's do that, and then we can talk a little more. So, Councilmember Nutt.
I want to thank everybody for coming out and expressing their opinions. And a lot of good ideas came about this, and I'm pretty sure that as the consensus is right now, it's kind of up in the air. What I do want to make sure of is that the second part of this amendment for the business trailers and or boats is something I'm against. I know that that's how I feel about that. But when it comes to our current ordinance, I would like to see the council go revisit this if we're going to have it, if we're going to have anything like this, because I see where the council's going on this. We need to write this in a manner that's going to be compromising at all. So that's where I stand as long where the mayor is.
So, is that it, David?
That's it. Thank you.
So, as it stands right now, I didn't hear everything he said fully, but it sounds like you would want to potentially revisit the ordinance, look into massage the language and reconsider it?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So, I agree wholeheartedly with you, this is a bit confusing, because I'm looking at the title of it, I'm looking at the staff recommendation that's listed. It talks about consider approving on first reading ordinance number 2026-01 to allow residents with home-based businesses to store business-related trailers and or watercraft in front of their homes. The intent of this is to be an all-encompassing ordinance and to address both the parking of commercial trailers, and then recreational boats, which would be all boats. If the one gentleman makes his living from working off of his boat. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. So for that reason, God knows I don't want to keep doing this over and over and over again. But for that reason, I would also be in favor of, let's tighten this up a bit. Let's make the language very clear as to what this applies to. If it's commercial and recreational, then let's make that clear as day. I think we need to come back. Like I said, I'm personally in favor of considering potentially allowing a boat. I know that Councilmember Romy is not in favor of prohibiting commercial trailers, which it sounds like by state statute, we can't do that if it's a home-based business anyway. So our hands would be tied on that particular item. So with that said, I think that, again, I think we need to go back. I think there needs to be adjustments made to the language. I'm still at the no commercial trailers, but again, I'm handcuffed by the state statute, so that sounds like that is off the table, and it would be allowed. But going back to my comment about proliferation of trailers, boats, RVs, my feeling is we do need to control that, is all there is to it. And I think if we incorporate some more limitations, I think we can potentially get to a compromise on this. Again, trying to be sensitive to you folks' needs for recreational boating. I understand that. I understand some of the folks that are in favor of leaving the ordinance exactly as it is. I truly get both sides of this, but I think we need to tighten it up.
So, Carl, I have a question. Would that be a motion to delineate these two separate issues or consensus?
I would here's what we want you to do. Procedurally, I think what's going to happen is the mayor will ask if anyone wants to make a motion on the current ordinance. If nobody makes a motion, the ordinance dies, okay, for lack of a motion, and then direct staff to bring back a new ordinance.
And the other alternative would be to make a motion to table the item, go back and,
Yeah, we thought about that, but I think if we just get rid of this one completely, so we don't have to even look at it anymore, we can start brand new.
Could we make a motion to kill?
Okay,
Just
so
procedurally,
you
Carl,
could,
can we make a motion to kill the existing?
you
this
can make a
ordinance?
motion to deny
The
the
ordinance
ordinance
amendment.
number, whatever it is.
Right,
Yes,
the amendment.
you can do that.
The amendment to it.
so it's
Whatever the ordinance number is,
so
sir.
it's the same net effect.
Yes, it is the same net
Same net
effect.
effect, yes. So if you want to make a motion not to adopt ordinance number, whatever it is, I would be okay with that. Usually I don't like negative motions, but we'll let that one go, understanding what I think is going to happen.
I'd like to make a motion not to adopt ordinance number 2026-01.
Second.
A motion by Deputy Mayor Dyer, second by Councilmember Romy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those
Okay,
opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
So staff will bring back a new one.
Right. Sorry to everybody out there, you get to come back another time, so.
I'm not gonna watch it though. I heard a little.
Forever.
I don't know,
Forever. So so they, in the history, it only starts at 2017. But we still have a city council
we
meeting.
still have some items.
We still have a city council
So we're
meeting
not
to do.
done.
We
We're not
haven't
done.
gavelled out yet. We are still
All right,
having a city
folks.
council meeting.
You're welcome.
So if you wait till the meeting's over, I'll be happy to talk to you then. Right, so we have to finish our city council meeting. We're still
Yes,
gavelled
ma'am.
in.
We still have to finish up, folks.
Not yet.
No, we haven't adjourned yet.
We haven't.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more agenda item, so if you guys want to leave, you can leave. If not, we still have some more business to discuss.
Excuse me, folks. We still have a couple more items on the council agenda, so if you're done in here, if you make your way out, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. On to item 10. Yeah. You get that door closed, that'd be great. It's nice and quiet in here. I like that. All right, item 10B, authorization to dispose of surplus fixed assets. City Manager Coffey. You're on.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Staff requests the council find continued use of a 1987 Honda generator and a 2017 pool vacuum to be uneconomical, inefficient, and serving no useful function, and City Council declares said fixed assets as surplus and authorize their disposal.
Okay. Does anyone in council have any questions regarding this? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to declare the fixed asset as a surplus item as authorized at its disposal.
Second.
I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Dyer and a second by Councilmember Romy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Next is public forum. If anybody would like to come up and speak on anything, please do so. We have one speaker card here, Grace Dowdy. Where did Grace go?
I think she left.
She gave up.
She left.
We wore her out. All right, she's done. All right, so non-taker, nobody, so,
What was the title?
oh, you did. Oh. So, oh, you already spoke, right? Yeah, you spoke, so, okay, well, come on up, state your name and address. You don't need to do the speaker card for this part.
Just for legal, you put that thing up there about the statute
Yeah, I'd
for
like to see
commercial
that again, but-
trailers and such. I only had a brief time to kind of like look through it real close, but I thought it said something in the fact that the commercial for businesses, trailers and such, could not be more stringent than residential ordinances. That's what I saw in there, but I'm not a lawyer.
What the Mr. Mayor, normally I don't answer questions from the audience, legal questions, but I'll direct this to the council. What it says is that you can't treat the commercial different than you would treat a person in a residence who doesn't run a business out of the home. So if you allowed a utility trailer, just a home utility trailer, you could not say no commercial trailer. You'd have to apply the rules across the board for both the home occupation business and a non-home occupation occupant of that property.
So no trailers would include boat trailers.
Well, depends on the boat trailer. Is it a commercial or not?
If you would address the council, just a follow-up. What I took of that is they wouldn't be stricter than residential, which means that they would have the same ordinances as far as parking locations.
The parking, the size, everything needs to be consistent.
Okay, thank you. We have another taker. Come on up.
Already signed that up.
You deserve another chance.
Yeah.
So
You don't wanna
can
get
talk
missed.
as much as you
So,
want. No,
hey,
just kidding.
just real quick, I'm looking into putting a ADU in my yard. Are you guys familiar with ADUs?
Tell us what an ADU is.
Accessory dwelling unit.
Yeah.
So the statute that
Mother-in-law
the
suite,
state
right?
passed says that I can go ahead, if I can meet all the easements, I can build another house on my property. This is for affordable living. So I'm at the beginning of this. I've already gone to the building department, and they didn't know what it was. I think they've looked into it now. But I don't know if any others, people in the town have done this or looking into it, and that's kind of why I'm up here now is, are you guys aware of anybody else doing it? You have one on your street?
Okay.
It's. Well, the reason why I'm doing it is I'm not going into assisted living. I'm gonna live there and give my kids my house. But I just wanna, it's new, and people are confused about it. And when I go through with the plans and all that, I just wanna make sure it's.
So my
smooth sailing.
recommendation to you is you come in and speak to the building official.
Right.
And that's the starting point right there.
Okay, I just wanted to know really if you guys had any opposition to that in the past, if you already.
We
came up
haven't been
with-
exposed to it on
Okay.
council. It's
Yeah.
not something that would come before council, so it'll be handled on a staff level.
Okay. One other thing, your condos on the beaches don't have any lights on them. But sea turtles are gonna be very happy this year.
Okay.
So, thank you guys for doing the job that you're doing.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion
I'd
to
like to
adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by
Second.
by Deputy Mayor Dyer, second by Councilmember Romney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned.